Hello. 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 My dear student, my voice is audible. Please confirm me once. Hello. 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 My dear student, my voice is audible. Please confirm me once. Okay. Okay. So it's audible now. So we'll start. Dear student, very good morning. Dear student, very good morning to all of you. So dear student, today we are going to see about 18th July the Hindu newspaper analysis. Okay. So dear student, how you can get this PDF? You can simply scan our this QR code to download our application. From that, you'll get premium infographics edition folder. You can download that. From there, you can get this PDF. And how you can get all other PDF like current affair, daily MCQ. So you can simply scan this QR code to join our Telegram. From there, you'll get daily MCQ, mains questions, a lot of things. And those who are using iOS and iPad device, so you can simply download Class Plus application and use the org code PKRMEJ to get all this benefit of in iOS device. And dear student, please watch this video till the end. So I am going to tell you each and every news that is being in on newspaper. So where you can going to use, whether it is going to be used in your GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 essay, whether it is they can ask a question on the prelims. So main focus of my discussion is I'm going to tell you how you are going to use or how you are going to apply all your knowledge and throughout reading this newspaper, how you can put all your newspaper knowledge into your answer writing. If you follow, so during discussion or after discussion, I'll give around 10 to 15 tasks for your homework. If you practice regularly, it is my promise you'll get 20 to 30 marks extra prelims and 80 plus marks mains. So that means it is either this is the gap between selection and rejection. So believe me, I'm not saying any lie. So I think some people might think that how come we are going to get this marks? Yes, you'll get this marks if you follow whatever I'm saying religiously. Okay. So next, India won against double standard over the Russian oil. So what happening recently? So Donald Trump putting pressure on the Russia to stop war against the Ukraine, and they are accusing that India is buying Russian oil. So that money is being used by the Russia to fund war against the Ukraine. And USA want India to pressure on the Russia to stop this war. So that is what they are stand. So center response to the US bill seeking to impose duty on buying Russian oil and threat from the NATO chief. The petroleum minister said that the sanction will be dealt with when they are passed. So whenever there will be situation arises, we will deal with that. Not we are not concerned at this moment of time. So India on Thursday caution against the double standard. Even USA lawmaker considering imposing bill that could impose 500% duties on India and other country buying Russian oil. So any country they are buying Russian oil, so they are going to face the 500% of imposed duty. So that means if our product is let's say 100 rupees, so 500 means it will be 600 rupees. You can imagine what kind of impact it's going to have. So US President Donald Trump is backing Russian Sanction Act 2025 introduced by the Republican, threaten secondary sanction of 100% country that continue trade with sanctioned Russian product. So three countries, China, India, and Brazil, who are among the top buyer of Russian crude oil and oil product coal. So Beijing, Delhi should push Russian President Vladimir Putin towards ending this war in Ukraine or face the tariff. So this is what said by the NATO chief. So the securing emergency need of our Ministry of, you can say Ministry of External Affairs said that securing energy need of our people is understandable and overriding priority of us. So this in this endeavor we are guided by what are offered in the market as also prevailing circumstances. We would particularly caution against double standard here. So that means, US is pushing that, so that, US is pushing hard to fulfill its agenda. But India being a sovereign country, we should not look into what US is saying. Rather, we should look into, fulfilling demand, fulfilling the need of our people. So whenever we are getting price at a very cheap price, so we should go for that. देखो, same double standard is also followed by USA also. On the one hand, it is talking about, support to the India. On the other hand, it is also providing support to the Pakistan. So whenever they are national interest, they also follow the double standard. So it is our national interest. It is the concern of our people. So we should get buy oil wherever we are getting very cheap price. Okay? So that is what our Minister of External Affairs talking about. So diversification of the sources. So we need to diversify our sources. That means instead of buying, let's say 85% of our oil is imported. Instead of buying one country, we need to diversify among the multiple countries. So in case of any disruption, let's say 3 countries, so we are not going to face any shortage or spike in the oil prices. So India would deal with sanction when they are passed, pointing out that India diversified supply sources, buying more than 40 countries from 27 countries in past. Okay, that means we are diversifying. So India in touch with the friendly government. So here you can talk about, where you can write it. You can write it in our international relation about, what are the impact of change in the policy of developed and developed world on the Indian economy or Indian society, Indian polity. So you have to talk of that. Okay. So next is India in touch with the friendly government in North's case. So here in Yemen, so one Indian North's being awarded death penalty. So on the charge of murder. So our government in touch with that, so that after settlement, so that North's can be released. So judicial panel blame RCB, KCA, other for Bangalore stampede. So we know that during the RCB victory parade, so there is a stampede occur. Because of that, so many people have died in that. So here they found those who are responsible. And dear student, if you want to get this PDF, simply scan this QR code. If you want to get this newspaper analysis, just do that. And those who want to write answer writing, so you can join our answer writing program. It is very nominal fee, yet you'll get evaluation by the selected candidates. So we are not giving low quality evaluation, but at a very nominal fee. So you can join that. And those who are writing mains, they can also join it. So next is UP DGP says that 238 criminals have been killed and 9,467 shot leg. So encounter in since 2017. So we know that there is rising encounter or tough action against the criminals in the Uttar Pradesh. Total of the 38 criminals have been killed. So this information is given. So aggressive crackdown. So force has ensured an aggressive crackdown on the crime under the chief minister. So DGP added. But the police must have put out the figure cast. This is what the NHRC must step in. We have a robust criminal justice system in India. So we need to ensure there should be proper due process of law. If you start encounter killing, so there is a high chances of misuse of that encounter killing. Even in past we have seen that there is in name of encounter killing. So simply they killed the opposition, they killed the marginalized section of the society, those who are influential, those who are in the party or ruling party in power. So they don't kill their own person. So that is the reason every death there need to be follow some certain standard procedure. There is needs to be all encounter death need to be properly investigated to ascertain what are the reason for that. So police must also put out figure about the caste or the social detail of the individual targeted in this encounter. We believe that people from the social segment seen against the present regime face brunt of the police excess. So NHRC should investigate that. So next is glitches in the portion of hindering beneficiary registration in Haryana. So we are pushing for the digitalization. No doubt it's a very good thing. Digitalization is helping removing the bogus beneficiary, better targeting of it. No doubt all things are good. But problem is that whenever we are not taking into all this failure problems, so that lead to the exclusion. It is going to create a lot of problem. So this is what the example you can write in ethics. Too much focus on the technology without humanity can cause severe problem. Technology without humanity can be a social sin. This is what said by the Gandhiji. So one point can be this can be a good example on that. To meet her assigned beneficiary, the 7 pregnant women and 3 lactating mother, get them register on the Poshan Tracker app for availing dietary benefits. So you know that under the ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme. So pregnant and lactating women, they get the benefit under the Poshan tracker. So they need to have facial recognition her beneficiary on the app and made mandatory by center since 1st of July. So, the Union Ministry and Women Child Development directed that Anganwadi worker to complete the authentication of beneficiary, which include facial recognition and KYC on the Poshan app tracker app. So this is a very good initiative so that all these beneficiary, they need to be registered and, their facial recognition so that we need to eliminate the bogus beneficiary. So ministry also order registration of all beneficiary children through the guardians or parents Aadhaar card on the app. Under the scheme, Anganwadi worker and helper tasked to provide supplementary nutrition for infant, lactating, pregnant mother and preschool education health checkups up to 6 years. So this is what the objective of ICDS. Dekho, all the objective detail of the scheme are time and again repeatedly giving in our newspaper. So if you are not able to focus properly the newspaper, so in that case you will not be able to understand anything. So that is the reason while reading newspaper, you need to identify important point and note them down. Okay. The next one is, so poor internet connectivity. Poor internet connectivity at some places and technical glitches in app at times are other hurdles. So you can talk of that. So digital divide also. So while minister has maintained that the integrating technology into program ensure that benefit reaches to the last mile swiftly and transparently. So you can talk about this is the objective of digitalization. So this is the objective. We are trying to achieve this, but there are a lot of challenges itself. For example, the beneficiary argue that digitalization have only increased their problem of accessing to the benefits. So that means government need to find a middle ground. While on the one hand we are promoting, on the other hand government need to find a middle ground so that it can be win-win for all. So next important articles, the flames of protest in the system. So what happening? There is a student held candle vigil march in the Fakir Mohon Autonomous College in Baleshwar to pay tribute to the student who lost their life because of sexual harassment and later on commit suicide. She felt she was being singled out. Her complaint to the ICC was leaked and she has become the butt of jokes and social media. So you can think of what kind of society we are living when some students are facing such a sexual harassment, in workplace. Instead of our society coming in support of that lady, we are simply make fun of that person. So you can think of what kind of sick mentality we are living, what kind of sick mentality of people are having. Even after the death of this student, the family is also facing the harassment. So we need to question ourselves. So what kind of society we are living? So this is what called morally corrupt society. So we need to bring a system where those who are suffering, they need to have a proper support system. Everyone, like government, society, we need to condemn the perpetrator, not the victim. Okay? We need to understand that. So next important news is lab-grown cell help restore the insulin in 12% with severe type 1 diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is very debilitating. It's a lifelong disease. So if we can grow the cell in the lab, so that can be used to treat the type 1 diabetes. So people with type 1 diabetes track the blood sugar and adjust insulin, brace for high and low, watch sign of next crash. So best technology including pumps and sensor can't fully replicate the natural rhythm of a healthy pancreas. So recently, a stem cell derived islet cell infused into the liver in 12 people with severe long-standing type 1 diabetes. This cell began producing insulin, again improving blood sugar control and preventing dangerous flow. So that means recently stem cell based islet, if when they pump when they pump into the liver, so it is able to produce insulin so that patient with type 1 diabetes, so that can be easily cured. So just read it. So it is given about all these things. Type 1 diabetes begin when immunosystem attack the islet cells, so which produce insulin, other hormones that regulate the blood sugar. Without these cells, people rely on external insulin. So when your body is not able to produce the insulin, so we have to take insulin extra outside. So adjusting these dose by trial and error, but despite automated delivery system, 75% don't reach their recommended blood sugar targets and some continue to experience exposed low levels. So the idea of replacing the lost islet cells isn't new. So the transplant from the diseased donor have reduced or eliminated insulin's use in the past. So past also we have replaced the lost cell with the new cells. But recently, this replacement is a complex process. But now recently we are finding a new way of using the stem cells to replace that. So the study marks the promising step forward in the field of a remarkably progress in 70 years. But if therapy is eventually introduced, so it is going to be game changer. But we have to see what are the side effects, and what is the cost of this problem, cost of this treatment also. So dear student, if you want to join our Dronacharya year-long mentorship program, you can scan this QR code and join our program. So you will get a highly experienced mentor. So we'll guide you throughout your UPSC journey. Okay. So next, navigating the nutrition information in the era of social media. So social media thrives on the blacks and white thinking, and much of the information is not always accurate. Nutrition science is all about context, dose, and individuality. Genetics, gut microbes, lifestyle, stress level, cultural background all determine what to work for you, say expert. So recently we are seeing so-called expert in social media. They nutritionists, so they suggest something, they say that something is wrong, something is good, but they are not accurate. So you need to understand, they need to understand, too much of excess is bad, so much of excess is also good. So we have to find the optimum balance of it. So it is given an article, so just read for your good health. So you can see the global health and wellness market stood 1.4 trillion in 2024, according to a report by the McKinsey. The report highlight people are prioritizing wellness than ever, looking for science-backed products. So that means people after COVID-19, so they are giving more importance to the health and wellness products. So how we are going to important it is, you can write this as a market, and India is being a leader of pharmacy, so we can tap that and produce market so that it can be scaled of our production na? So next is, today the ultimate status or symbol is health and wealthy. So glowing skin and high energy lifestyle, fit physics are new aspiration, and social media the perfect stage to display. So we know that with celebrity with bodybuilder, celebrity with good face, so they are showing and glamorizing that, and that can be an opportunity for monetization of their product. So simply Google search. If you ask the Google Baba about anything, Google Baba will give you a lot of things, but sometimes they are giving contradictory information. For example, some says this food is good, some say this food is wrong. So this is what happened, because so many so-called nutritionists without having any education, so they promote all these things na? So if you look into the small intestine, have an extensive supply of blood vessels to facilitate uptake of nutrition. So in small intestine, whenever this here it is blood is flowing. So whenever our food is passing through that, so this food and nutrition is absorbed in the small intestine. So excess of vitamin mineral may not immediately benefit, because water soluble vitamins, so B and C, they are water soluble. So whenever they urinate, so they will excrete it outside. So lost through the body fluid like urine, and excessive water soluble vitamins harmful for metabolism. They are called ADK. ADEK. Okay, ADK. So regular supply through the fruits and leaf vegetable enough to maintain the balance. So that means whenever you are having diet, it should be mix of fruits and leafy vegetables. So how one eating the food may not immediately impact our health. Take vitamin C for example. For an orange, if you are eating an orange, so you are not going to see immediate result, but gradually you will see the result. So food as a cure. So good food provide ingredient for body immune system to function best, genetically determined capability. So that food cannot act like a medicine. So superfood don't undo the overeating or inactive. So to stay to fit, so you have to do a lot of exercise. Okay. So this article is a very good article about your personal hygiene, personal health. So hydration. So you have to take 8 glass of water daily. So best thumb rule is, so you can observe your urine color when it is pale yellow color. So that means it's ideal. So whatever amount of, you can say, water you are drinking, it is good. So over consumption of raw vegetables, juice can also bloating and nutrition imbalance like kidney stones, even blood sugar dip if not combined with meals. That means eating too much of fruits is not also good. So people need at least 130 gram of. Recently, we are also seeing people are skipping their hydrocarbon, carbohydrate also. So people need at least 130 gram of carbohydrate every day to meet body energy need. Our body run on sugar. So removing excess source of sugar and other carbohydrate from our diet, fruits, dietary product and dairy product, again not a healthy choice. So diet that cut all these carbohydrate sugar such as ketogenic diets can be harmful to your health also. So they can ask about what is ketogenic diet or keto diet. So you need to know about all these things. देखो, it is our body, our fuel of our body are sugar and carbohydrate. So you need to reduce that. You cannot supplement, replace that. So I have seen so many YouTube video where they are pretending, so-called expert, but they are saying all these things without having any knowledge. Social media thrives on black and white thinking. So nutrition science. So here you can go how you can talk about this in our social media, how social media promote the fake news, how social media promote, fake information, and it create a lot of choice among the people. So people don't are able to understand which one is right, which one is wrong. So you can study about it. You can write, point about role of social media in spreading fake news. Okay. So India reiterated call for Bangladesh poll that is inclusive. So recently Bangladesh is heading towards poll, but the new government form in Bangladesh, so they exclude the Sheikh Hasina government and try to impose some restrictions. So on the Awami League party. So that is the reason India reiterated that Bangladesh polls should be inclusive. So all parties should be participated properly. So men feel disconnected from way advertisement portray them. So this is what said by Kantara. So the misrepresentation of women in advertisement has been topic of discussion. New research. So men are too misrepresented. So men across the group felt advertisement perpetuate stereotype attitude towards masculinity. So whenever in ethics there is a topics called stereotypes and prejudice, so you can talk about that. So in our media, so they show man as a masculinity. So they think that men never cry, men are very strong. Not it is not like that only. So our analysis reveal a dual reality when it comes to the masculinity narratives. While some tradition belief about masculinity are consistently reinforced by advertisement, other outdated norm persist more strongly in the media than they do men own belief. So on the one hand there is a traditional belief that masculinity, and that is being reinforced by repeated shown by this media. Okay. So men said that. So you can see here 35% of ad perpetuate believe that real men don't cry, and 27% of them perpetuate fear man do not voice fear. So 24% felt sharing problem with women reduce stress. So this is what wrong actually. So this is what the prejudice, the stereotype that is being promoted by through this advertisement. So you can talk about the role of our media perpetuating the prejudice, stereotype, okay, and commodification of all these things. So next is the Petroleum Natural Gas Board regulatory asks city gas farm to supply pipe gas to the all household at uniform rate. So Petroleum Natural Gas Regulatory Board directed city gas distribution entity to supply pipe natural gas uniform rate to all domestic household consumer irrespective of daily consumption level. So this is what we need to ensure so that there should not be any discrimination. So next important news is UK government plan to reduce the age of voting from 18 to 16. So they can be asked which government recently reduced the voting age from 18 to 16. So this can be a very good question, UPSC prelims or any state PCS prelims. So you need to know that. So UK recently introduced a law that is reduced the voting rights. So in 1969, they have reduced their voting age from 21 to 18. So now again it is reduced to 16. So lowering voting age to 16 could bring national election in line with voting age in the Wales and Scots legislature and in local election those who are in the jurisdiction. So that means it will promote participation of more voter. It is going to give a voice to our younger population. Okay. So next is recently we are seeing a revision of our NCRT. From there Rajia Sultan and Noor Jahan was dropped. So if you look into the Delhi Sultanate, so the influential woman named Rajia Sultan who once ruled Delhi Sultanate, the Noor Jahan Shahjahan का जो wife थे, so Mughal era have been omitted from new NCRT class. So Delhi Sultanate and Mughals so culminate before the 12th century timeline. So Rajia Sultan is the daughter of Iltutmish. So if you look into Rajia Sultan, she is the daughter of Iltutmish. So similar chapter in new 8th class also omitted the reference to that. So Rajia Sultan, who became ruler of 1236 and continue her reign till 1240, has been described as a able, qualified than all her brothers. So for instances, it also omit the Emperor Jahangir wife Noor Jahan, who is in old textbook has been referred to as having influence in the Jahangir court. The old textbook also stated that silver coin was struck in the name of Noor Jahan and seal are issued in the name. Message inscribed the seal that granted her the status of an equal emperor Jahangir. So you can talk about this two story talking about though medieval history known for exploitation of women, but still there are instances where women are also rising to the top level. They are at the leadership role. They are also equality to that of empire. So next is the mighty Maratha woman mentioned the Tarabai, fearless warrior queen who resisted Emperor Aurangzeb expansion effort. He has been called the architecture of northward Maratha expansion. So Tarabai reference is included in the NCERT book. So Hazrat Begum Maul participated in the revolt of 1857 called as heroine. Okay? So next is no mention of Tipu. So Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali removed. So this is being done under the new national education policy okay, and curriculum framework to modify the book. The next is Supreme Court reserve its judgment, grant custody of anxious child to its mother. So recently, what happened? So there is a separation of couple, and after that, the woman married to new person and moved to abroad. So the father of that child applied the custody of the children, and court granted the custody. But later on, it is found that children is not happy with the father, so they have given the custody to the mother again. So next important article is the Public Account Committee flag the Aadhaar biometric authentication failure and seek a review of that. So Parliamentary Public Account Committee has called for review of the functioning of the UIDAI, Unique Identification Authority of India, flagging several concerns, including high rate of failure of Aadhaar biometric verification, which can lead to the many beneficiaries being excluded from the social welfare schemes. Okay, so this is what you can note them out, whatever in the box. So this is more important for your mains. So the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, which produced in 2021 report on UDI, the panel has listed oral evidence that technology UDI, this is a common man issue. So because of failure, so we need to correct that. Okay. So just read that, you will understand a lot about it. Okay. The next is Ahmedabad city, the big city in India survey. So Ahmedabad named the cleanest big city in India, followed by Bhopal and Lucknow in center annual Swachh Sarvekshan survey. So you can talk about Swachh Sarvekshan survey. We have found that Ahmedabad is the big city, so top in the Bhopal. Second one is Lucknow. So Supreme Court backed the ST woman hair property right case. So Supreme Court. Okay, hi Bipin Kumar, dear student. Actually, I cannot explain all in Hindi, but yes, मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी यूज कर सकता हूँ पढ़ाने के टाइम पे. But this is actually basically for the English medium student. So it's very difficult for me to tell everything in Hindi. But yes, in between I can speak in Hindi. Okay. So Supreme Court on Thursday offered the right of the legal heir of the scheduled tribe woman to an equal share in matter of grandfather ancestral property. So let's say your father property, your grandfather property. So both the male, female having equal hair right. That means all have the right to access it. So next is Akash Prime successfully tested in Ladakh by the army. So dear student, we know that Akash is an indigenously designed air defense system, surface to air missile. That means from ground it can attack any aircraft that is coming in the sky. So it is a medium range and it is the advanced version of the Akash missile. So we have recently deployed in Ladakh. So that is what going to be game changer. So in case of any conflict with the China, so we'll deny the airspace for all the Chinese aircraft. Okay. So next is CISF to train army to combat the security threat. So you know that CISF is a Central Armed Police Force. So they are basically aiming protection of the installation, key installation like and metro. They are protecting Delhi metro, then important industrial installation. So they are now provided more army training, modern weapons, so that it can fight with all this severe threat to this installation. They are also currently providing security to our parliament also. So next important article is how China is leading the green energy sector. So if you look into the Chinese rapidly growing green energy sector, it is shocking everyone. So China installed more wind turbine and solar panel in 2024 than other nation combined. Just imagine, one country is more than what entire world combined installation. So these statistics alone underline how China is safe ahead in the global green energy race, cornering entirety of renewable supply chain to farm control over the extraction of raw materials such as polysilicon and lithium. China also asserted dominance over the manufacturing of the solar panel, wind turbine, and batteries. So this is what the dominance of China, you can understand. But China is not doing this in a one day. So China renewable energy revolution, result of decades of the strategic state planning and massive investment in the innovation. Starting with modest plot, Beijing now leading in the solar panel and battery production. So China allocated remarkably 940 billion into the renewable market sector, while India is investing only 3.4. You can see how many times. Then only you can understand what is why there is a so much difference between India and China in the renewable energy. So from the start, Beijing had a global vision of ambitious using programs such as Belt and Road Initiative to push for green trade, whether through the export of solar panel, construction of hydropower in the Africa, or building wind farm in the Latin America. So apart from the climate goal, what mainly inspired China Green Revolution was mounting crisis of extremely high level of air pollution coupled with concern about the energy insecurity. Because previously China faced severe, you can say, about high pollution of its city. So to overcome that, they have invest huge amount in the renewable energy. So key difference between the Chinese SOE and Western private enterprise is ability of the Chinese states to mobilize large scale manufacturing capability and properly utilize their vast scale. That means active support and warranty from the state help Chinese to achieve this fit. So next important article is a stepping stone. So NASA Axiom ISRO tie-off is an admirable outcome. So recently we know that our astronaut Subanshu Suklaji visited to the International Space Station. From there, we have conducted a lot of experiment to understand, how microgravity environment impact with our body, what kind of things we need to survive in that harsh condition. So here this trip is costing us around 500 crore. But let's say if we individually started this trip and conduct this experiment, it might conduct huge amount of money. But the understanding that we are gaining through this mission, so that is going to helpful for our Gaganyaan mission. So Shukla trip, how to strengthen the ISRO preparation. Human spaceflight is highly involved endeavor. Once in a space crew on their own, so everything they have to perform independently. So this mission is going to help a lot for India, you can say, about our Gaganyaan mission. So middle ground, Trump must ask Russia to back down from its maximum position. So what happening now? Now Russia initially, in a positions to have the negotiation. Now it is in very tough condition. It tried to capture as much territory as possible of the Ukraine. So that is the reason now Donald Trump, before the contesting election, said that I can end this war in a single day. Now it has been very long. So Donald Trump is quite frustrating. He's not able to control the Russian war. So in that backdrop, so now Russia is threatening all these countries, those who are having trade with Russia, particularly India and China, to put pressure on the Russia to stop this war. Otherwise, you'll face the high amount of sanction. So this is what the threat that we are also facing, and we have to understand. So just because of someone else, for example, it's the Russia problem. So why the Indian customer they are going to face the problem? This is what problem with the USA. USA think that its problem is global problem and other problem are not its problem. So Donald Trump need to come out of this, the colonial mentality. Rather, it's need to be talked to the like Russian president or other stakeholder to find a solutions to this problem. So next is a better terror fight with the Jammu Kashmir police or the state reign. So recently we are seeing that there is a demand for statehood to the Jammu Kashmir need to be restored. And this article is talking about whenever police they fight against the terrorism, so there is a better result because police they are from the local and they understand the terrain, they understand the people. There is a better intelligence given by the people. So that is what going to help our having a sustainable mission. So what happening recently? Recently, Jammu and Kashmir under the president rule. So because of that, deployment of central forces, and central forces don't have any ground route. So that is the reason. So local people, they face alienation. So whenever we are having a government, from local level, state level, so local sarpanch having very good connection with the ground level. So they can have fair amount of idea of what is going on. So that kind of intelligence is very much helpful to tackle all this terrorism. So it is the high time we need to restore the state to the Jammu Kashmir and restore the democracy, because we have seen that people are giving very huge amount of vote in the local election. So parameter of success in Bihar poll revision. So recently we have seen that special intensive revision drive is going on in Bihar. So in that, all of a sudden, without having proper time, election commission announced that, and later on, it keeps revising the norm so that to improve the ease with which the voter can re-verify their name. So initially it is saying that there is no reference. Now it is saying that if anyone father or mother name is found in the 2003 voter list, so they can draw the lineage, and their voter identity will be accepted. And later on it is provided that 13 document, it is 11 document, it identify 11 document that can be provided for ascertaining their identity. And later on, Supreme Court also asked to include Aadhaar plus electoral photo, identity card plus ration card, and after that they were also added. So this article is talking about all these things, so we have to see what kind of thing going on in future. This is the article, nothing much important for your examination. So dear student, uh, this is all about 18th July newspaper analysis. So dear student, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and it is your like and subscription and comment that really motivate me to continue this series. So if you have any comment, suggestion, please write in the comment box. I'll try to make it possible, just like I think Bipin Kumar recently suggested. uh, uh, so while I'm taking the class, need to be speak in Hindi also. So I'll make sure that gradually this discussion should be bilingual, not only in like जब भी मैं बात करूंगा, ये ओनली इंग्लिश में नहीं होने वाला है, इट्स इंग्लिश एज वेल एज हिंदी, सो दैट बोथ बैकग्राउंड कैन अंडरस्टैंड वेन एवर देयर इज ए क्रिटिकल टर्म. जब मैं कुछ क्रिटिकल चीजें बात कर रहा हूँ, तो वहां पर मैं आपको हिंदी में भी बात करूंगा एंड इंग्लिश में भी बात करूंगा, सो दैट दोज हु आर फ्रॉम इंग्लिश बैकग्राउंड, हिंदी बैकग्राउंड, they can understand it better. But majorly my student, my focus is on the English medium, because I'm from English medium, so that is the reason I'll majorly focus on the English, but Hindi I'll in between I'll talk also. Okay, dear student. So please read this article. Okay, I'll have to end here. चलिए.